Hello, hello.
Hey,
Welcome everyone to
Hello?
Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
Jamie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I was like, "Are you Bree?" I'm Jamie.
I'm Bro.
And I'm Bobby of the Cryptid Corner. Hey, I have a question. Where did Bibby come from? I don't know why that's there.
Okay, so it's Bibby because that's what we call you in our group chat, and it's there because I changed it to that when you weren't paying attention.
Is there any other background besides that?
Well, I just
No,
autocorrected to that for some reason, and then
and
was
that's
calling Bibby.
yeah. So now you're just
That's-
Bibby, and
That's
then
like
Bree, and then Bree autocorrects to Bro. So it's just kind of like we've adopted our autocorrected names.
Hi, Stuart.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Jamie.
yeah, Jamie, just very phonetic of it.
Jamie.
Jamie.
It's like your
All
juggalo
right.
name.
All right, Bree, what are we talking about tonight?
Tonight we are going to talk about I just forgot. Oh, the Scape Swamp Lizard Man.
What up?
What up?
It's the word scape or swamp. I keep wanting to, like, my brain wants to move them around and be like swamp scrape. So I'm like, it's a jumble
I believe
word.
it used to be called Scape Horse Swamp. I'm not even making that up. I just saw that when I was doing some research there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They changed it because that word's not acceptable on a geographic map these days.
No, it is not.
Fortunately. I mean, it would have brought me over there, but
Oh,
anyway, the place seems a little bit, not necessarily an overall hot spot, but definitely has a lot of attention for a place of where the lizard man likes to make appearances.
what's a lizard man, Bree?
A lizard man is, I mean, we're kind of going to go over that today. Do we
Okay,
think it's a
okay.
reptilian, or is this just a cryptid? Is this something that's completely separate than a reptilian? They obviously have a lot of similarities in their features. It's just interesting that it would be this one particular area where this lizard man is, where reptilians seem to be kind of all over the place, but this area in particular seems to be just the lizard man. So the stories really go back about the 80s, almost towards the end of the 80s. And the first report that we have is in the fall of 1987. And it kind of goes from there, which is really interesting. Also, something that we can kind of try to pick apart is why is it a particular date? And then it just goes on from there. So we have George Holliman Jr. He, again, this fall of 1987, he's riding his bike, just kind of hanging out. He pulls over to stop and smoke a cigarette. He needs a cigarette break. So he pulls over, parks his bike. He's smoking a cigarette, just chilling right there by the stream. And he thinks he sees a giant log. But then this log-shaped figure stands up, and then it dawns on him that this is not a log. This is a giant reptilian-like creature, around 8 feet tall, red glowing eyes, green scaly skin, and they're just kind of locked. Their eyes are in a complete lock. He can't look away. He's frightened, of course. Anyone that would see this giant reptilian-like creature just stand up. And they get stuck like that for a couple minutes until a car drives by, and it kind of just like snaps him out of this weird gaze, and then he sees the creature just dart off. And that is the very first instance that we have of the lizard man.
2 questions. One, what kind of cigarette was it?
Ooh, that's a good
It's
question.
probably, you know what, back then I feel like it
They had
probably
really
one of
weak
those,
weed
like,
back then.
Like a yeah, I
They
feel
That
like
were-
you're,
South Carolina swag.
it wasn't like a name
not gonna
brand
hallucinate.
anything. It was just some shit that they found on the side of the road, rolled into some Bible paper. They called it a day.
Oh, okay. Second thing I wanted to ask you guys, that first account you accounted there, Bree. When I think of an animal that oftentimes gets mistaken for a log,
Hmm.
I don't think it's any coincidence that you guys want to try to fill in the blank. What conventional animal is often mistaken for a log?
Oh no, a bear?
No, bears are not.
A
Think
Lincoln
about
log.
Oh, a log, maybe like in the water, like a crocodile?
yes. Well, an
Alligator?
alligator. Crocodiles are
Alligator?
in India and Africa, I believe. But yes, an alligator, which are
Oh, alligator.
those swamps of
Yes.
the South, are teeming with them.
Standing up.
That's
But
true.
I just found that interesting. That's the first time I've heard that account, Bree. And you said they mistook it for a log. That's something you mistake. I think that's a little
And they also
camouflage action from an alligator.
also got scales. They also got scales, so it's very interesting the similarities of the two, and they're both being described as logs.
Maybe this is some weird type of evolution where all of a sudden alligators can like stand up and walk.
Stand
But
up
then
and walk around.
Wouldn't understand the red glowing eyes. I don't think you would need that. I can't see them
But
needing that.
You did mention that a car drove by, so perhaps.
Oh, so like a
Einstein?
flash from the light. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing everything
But
I got at the
wasn't
wall
until
right now.
after. That wasn't until after they had their stare down.
Are you sure? Yeah. What's up, C? I know what you're talking about.
I mean, this
Hey-o.
is 87. I was yet to be born, so I have no idea.
You were barely a thought in your father's nut.
No one thought about me till it was too late.
Hey-o.
I don't say that. Don't say that. I thought about you back then.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
like,
so
one
sweet,
day-
Bobby.
One day,
One
Cryptid
day.
shit on YouTube with some girl that's not
When you
born
were a
yet.
wee baby, exactly.
Yeah, that's compelling though. I'll say that much. Everything we've just said is compelling.
It is. All right, Bobby. So when's the next sighting that happened?
Okay, so interestingly enough, the next year in 1988, again, Bishopsville, South Carolina, at 2 a.m. in the morning, we have high school student Christopher Davis. He's on his way home from work. He gets a flat tire. As he's finishing changing out the tire, he notices a little disturbances in the woods, maybe some rustling, cracking, things of that nature. Next thing he knows, he looks over and sees a giant red-eyed shadowy figure. So he, which is a reasonable response, bolts back into his car. Again, this is right after he finishes changing his tire. He hears a loud crash on the top of his car. And as he's struggling with what exactly this could be, reports say that he saw 3 long, spindly fingers in the windshield, behind the windshield of the car. He's swerving and he's sliding. He's pretty scared, as anyone would be, I think. And it seems as though the creature is clutching itself to the top of the car. So legend has it, he slams on the brakes and this figure flies forward. And to his surprise, he sees the front of a 7-foot-tall lizard creature, again with 3 long fingers on each hand.
Okay, I want to, while you're talking about this, I have a quote from him that I want to read of him describing what happened. He says, I looked back and saw something running across the field towards me. It was about 25 yards away. I saw red eyes glowing. I ran into the car, and as I locked it, the thing grabbed the door handle. I could see him from the neck down. 3 big fingers, long black nails, and green rough skin. It was strong and angry. I looked in my mirror and saw a blur of green running. Right? I could see his toes, and then he jumped on the roof of my car. I thought I heard a grunt, and then I could see his fingers through the front windshield. They were curled around the top of the roof. I sped and swerved and shaked and tried to get the creature off.
He tells the story a lot better than I do. There's a lot of details I left out there. I like the part. Yeah, right. Well, he was there, apparently. I like the part about how he tried to open the door, though.
I did too. Like, yeah,
these are very.
Yeah, because he described like the fingers like reaching for the door handle very specifically.
These are very industrious, like mechanical cryptids of South Carolina. They most people down there are pretty handy. They're pretty old school, rural folk that know how to take care of themselves. Why would the lizards be any different? They know how to open the door to a car.
Of course,
with 3 fingers. I couldn't do that. Damn.
I'm just saying. Kudos.
I mean, it sounds like a horrifying story. If that were me, I mean, even getting out of the car at 2 a.m. sounds awful. Out in the middle of God knows where in the foresty swamp area, I would be terrified all alone. And then to have some giant scaling red-eyed thumping creature coming towards you. The fact that it can open a door, I mean, that's terrifying.
Very.
And I would just be like swerving all over the place trying to get that thing off. It's like in the movies when the killer just like runs and jumps on the hood of the car and they're like,
Yeah.
I get that scene in my mind very clearly.
Yes.
So that story really kind of publicizes the lizard man. Not a lot of people knew about the story that I said first with Bill Holloman. It was really Christopher Davis's story
That's the one
made it go viral.
It went global within 3 days.
It's
that
crazy.
Story. Again, I don't want to be Captain Skeptical here, but I was watching a certain interview with a certain someone as I was doing my research. And I think it could be safe to assume that this particular area of South Carolina generally has pretty slow news cycles. Just throwing that out there.
Absolutely.
Out there. And you know, probably a pretty not a very prosperous economy. And this is one of those classic Americana monsters that the town, again, we see this all the time, the town embraces the legend and has little festivals each year. And
what's interesting
with this.
What's interesting that you say about that too is because during that same time it was really hyped up. There was multiple other sightings within that very brief period of that summertime, and there was even a point where like a news station offered like $1 million reward if you could catch one of the things. So the town was absolutely hyping this up and turning it into something bigger than I think it was.
Now that you bring that up, I have a question because you guys know more about this side of things than I do. Are there certain times of the year or certain like astrological periods where like we're more susceptible to something of high strangeness? Because I feel like
oh yeah, of course.
Probably just like around Halloween, right? Because that's always supposed to be the time where the veil is the thinnest.
Well, no, I think I think he means more on an astrological scale, not just like a like time of year, but he means more like, well, Jupiter's specifically here and this is specifically here, so that means that the veil is thinner. I'm sure that people make that assumption, and I definitely can see how that could be brought into all of this. 100%. I know what you're saying.
We start with the first known accounts, 87, and then boom, 1988 is the most famous one, and it goes global. It's just, I just find that kind of weird that there's no, seemingly no previous accounts of this thing. I know there is some Indian lore around this, but other than that, as far as the white folks saying it, the Westerners.
Well, and kind of how this. What's interesting that
was not a white folk, by the way.
Well, it's interesting that you say that too, because so 2 weeks after this happened to Davis, the sheriff went and actually collected like samples of the door and like molded it, and they were going to send it into the FBI, but then like they had some like scientists come in, and the scientist was like, no, I'm telling you right now that there's no way that this is identifiable. There's no reason to turn it into the FBI. Like, this is an unknown creature, period, end of story, have a nice day. And then they never sent the evidence anywhere.
Public service announcement: do not send any evidence of cryptids to the federal government, because you will never see it again.
Yeah, not a
we didn't know that back in 88, though.
No, that's a really good point and something off topic.
Tell us.
That I'm going to mention just for a moment before we get back to our story. But
please do.
I hear that a lot with MUFON as well. There's, like kind of a half and half with MUFON, that they're there to actually investigate. And then there's another side that I hear about a lot where it's kind of like the collection agency. They're collecting the stories, they're collecting samples, but then you might not get those samples back from the lab.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say on Twitter recently that they've been trying to get like certain like information and videos and pictures and stuff from MUFON, and MUFON just keeps it behind this big giant like paywall, they say. And it's like, why aren't you letting people, like, if you have stuff that people can study, why can't we study it? And so there's like this huge thing where people are saying like, oh my God, you guys, they're actively trying to hide this information.
hasn't
Which
been
is just
compromised.
nuts. But it makes sense, though. I mean, if I was on that end, why not act like you're the best friend that's just holding everyone's purse, but then stealing the money?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if something ever happens around here, I'm not going to tell anyone but you guys.
Okay, perfect.
That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
That's all that
I
matters. Yeah.
know.
We're not,
So,
we don't want to break
so we had
anything.
that 87, then 88, and then like you said, Bobby, 88 was probably the biggest year.
Mhm.
And a lot of the stories that we came across were like this one I'm going to tell you next. There's seems to be a theme with cars. So this story was not far after actually when
Mhm.
Christopher Davis, because Christopher Davis was June 29th. This is July 14th in 1988.
88. Wow.
Mhm. Same year.
Same year, same town, Bishopville area. A couple, Tom and Mary Wayne, they wake up and find their car like fucking destroyed. Their car was brutally vandalized. It was all around the car, complete, just dented in, scratched all over the place. The hood of the car was basically twisted, almost like who could twist a hood of a car? I have no idea.
No idea.
Pieces of the engine were missing. There was wires hanging out like they were fried. There were claw marks all around the car doors. There were pieces of the car that looked like it was basically munched on, like
Mhm.
some creature was just like gnawing on the bits of this car. Totally fucked it up. And so that was another, instance that had to do with a car, with a lot of stories that I read. But the weird thing about the claw marks was that they were just 3 claws. And there wasn't any type of wildlife or animal, anything like that, that's in the area that only has 3 fingers, 3 claws, and that is that beastie to be just munching on vehicles.
So 2 out of 3 of these initial accounts, we have motifs of attacking of cars and 3 claw-like fingers.
Yes,
Yes.
everything seems to be.
And it seems like the height is relatively consistent as well, 7 to like 9 feet tall.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Word.
So I felt bad for the people, but that was like a lot of stories like that, their cars were just totally fucked up. And if that happened to me, that's not a bear. I mean, I've never heard of a bear being able to twist the hood of a car or that just munches on engines and stuff.
Yeah, that's wild. It's almost like this reptile creature has some sort of vendetta against like the modernity of the horseless carriage. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, damn you vehicles.
Yeah, it's like it's confused, but it's like sees it as a local threat, like its own living entity, the automobile. They're
Maybe
like,
that's
what
why
is
the
it's
bike
like,
was
what is
left
this thing?
alone.
This
Wait,
is a another alpha predator, or what they call apex predator, moving into my region.
This sounds like a love story. It sounds like maybe that the lizard man is just misunderstood.
I'd be curious to know
love
what kind of cars
story?
they were.
Yeah, he's just misunderstood. We just got if we teach him how to drive.
You guys ever watch that show My Strange Addiction?
Yes.
Yes.
It's great.
Oh,
There's
maybe it's just a person.
There's a guy that dates his car. It's fucking awesome.
Oh my god, I know
I've seen
exactly
that
what you're
one.
talking about.
It's
I
like
know.
the best
Yes.
But there's also a person who's turning themselves into a reptile who like took their whole skin
nice
and like
segue.
tattooed it into yes they did. So and that was on like they were like addicted to tattooing or whatever, and they were like, I identify as a lizard. They split their tongue. I think they like webbed their fingers or something. All sorts of shit.
Well, maybe it's both of those people. You have the lizard man, and then you have someone that's just like, maybe they're not addicted to just loving their car, but just trying to eat cars.
What is our fascination with both cars and reptiles? Reptiles seemingly represent the reptilian brain, the instinct, the primordial impulse, the past, if you will. And then cars are a representation of the human's desire to go faster and be stronger and transcend
Mm.
distances much faster. So it's almost like we have this old school
That's interesting.
primal motif, and then we have this
battling this new age.
juxtaposed new age technology thing going on. I don't know what that means.
And
I'm
it's
just
no,
rolling.
and it definitely seems like the monster character has this very like Frankenstein kind of mind, like doesn't quite understand, so it's like must attack car.
Yeah.
And left the guy on the pig
the
alone.
car is not from the age of the lizard man.
You do not understand, must destroy. I get it. That's the whole vibe.
Destroy.
I feel like we should make a movie about this. Okay, so during this time, that's what all
He
these
doesn't
other
know if
reports.
He wants to kill it or love it. The lizard man loves cars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a love story. He just doesn't understand. He's misunderstood. Maybe he really loves the cars, and then he understands technology, and then he gets a suit. That's what I'm saying. It's a love story, guys.
He gets a suit. He starts selling insurance. Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's a love story. Okay. So during this time, we have all of this stuff where people are now reporting this, but it starts to kind of die down and the reportings get kind of like less and less reliable. And one of the very last reportings of the time happened August 5th, 1988. And it was from somebody named Kenneth Orr, who at the time was an airman who was stationed at the Shaw Air Force Base, which was not far from Bishop. And he said that while driving down the road one night, Highway 15, that he had shot and wounded one of these lizard men. Not only did he shot and wound it, but he had evidence of it. He had like blood and like scales of it. And he went to the police station. What's interesting about this story is the very next day, he was arrested by military police and arraigned on charges for having his pistol in public and for putting in a false police report. And he was like, he got in trouble with the army. And then immediately the local law enforcement and the media came out the next day and was like, oh, it was just, you know what? All of this was just a bear, guys. It was just a bear.
I'm getting Roswell weather balloon vibes from this story.
Hardcore.
Very much so. Like, it's so interesting that it was like literally the next day he was like, JK, I'm just kidding.
That's what I was going to bring up to you guys. I'm glad it came up naturally. The Shaw Air Force Base is literally right in the hub of where this kind of magic spooky stuff is happening. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not trying to make any connections that aren't there. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, well, and it's just interesting too because a lot of people assume that a lot of things happen around those kind of airfields. So who is to say that there's a possibility that maybe they have some sort of underground base there and there could be reptilians living underground and they accidentally got out and they were eating some cars for some snacks.
Which begs the question, is the Air Force Base, because this happened, this is Wright-Patterson, this is Dulce, all that shit. There's more than that, right? Those are the big three, or the big two. Area 51 would be another one, I guess. But it begs the question, do we build these super secret military bases because there's high strangeness phenomenon there, or does the high strangeness phenomenon, it's a chicken and the egg thing, does the high strangeness phenomenon come out of the Air Force Base as a result of tampering?
Isn't that the fucking question, Bobby? Isn't that the question that we're talking about with everything we investigate, right? The chicken or the eggs, what come first? Is it a real thing? Did we make it up?
Yeah.
Were aliens here first? Did they put us here? Who fucking knows?
I
Is
lean
there a
towards
connection
two
at all, or are we
possibilities.
just drawing false? All right.
I lean towards either
I'm
it's like
listening.
The Mist, like the movie The Mist, where the government is messing around with something. They open up some weird portal, and then, or not even a portal, but they're bleeding through dimensions, and then like, you remember the Mist?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think of that,
Mist of the
and
Gap
then
theory,
I
you got
also
it.
Yeah, Mist of the Gap theory. Yeah.
Mist of the Gap theory. But then I also think that they could be working, and then they escaped. He's like, I don't want to be with you guys anymore. Because I am a long-term believer that, you know, I'm sure we'll get into this when we go more into reptilians, but kind of goes back to the secret space program and all of that. I'm a huge believer of that. And I think it's possible that they were totally working in cahoots with them and they ran away.
Well,
and now they're like, what do I do here? I have nothing to eat.
Would you say
There's
that
cars.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Is there a delay on me?
No. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe. There might be.
Okay. Would you say that? I think
It is
there
the government.
is.
I think there is, Bobby. The government knows we're too close to something. We're talking about the mist, the
Talking about
fog,
the lizard
We're at all of
experience.
it.
the lizards.
Is there a delay? Should I leave and come back?
No, you're
I'm gonna
fine. Keep
leave. I can't
talking.
hear you guys.
Okay, leave and come back. Okay. Well, while Bobby adjusts himself and
Oh.
figures out his goddamn life, what the fuck were we talking about before that? Let's just say hi to everyone
Oh,
until Bobby
But
comes back.
it's missed.
So Spooky says that she should come on and tell us her Sasquatch story. 100%, hands down. Yes, please, immediately. The Mist is Stephen King, it's the Mist, not the Fog. Yeah. Then Stuart says, yes, all the above.
That's what I said.
Stranger
all the
Things.
above.
So we've said for a long time that the government likes to fuck with us sometimes. This is proof of it right here live. This is the shit that happens to us constantly.
Always happens to us. That's been happening to us forever.
Always. Ooh.
Oh well. Bobby was like, just kidding.
He was like, JK, guys, JK. How's everyone in the chat doing tonight? Let's talk. What's going on? How y'all doing? How's George? How's Stuart? How's
Hi.
Spooky? How's
How
Joey?
y'all doing?
How y'all doing? How's Amy? How's everybody? If you didn't already, please thumbs up this video and maybe retweet it, share it down there, the little share button, subscribe, help a sister out. Me and Bree have been sitting here on what is this that we're on?
We're on StreamYard. We've been here since 2
o'clock, just talking with each other, hanging out. Yeah. Vibing with each other.
It's kind of crazy.
Let's see. What does Spook say?
Just
Doing great. It's some post-Cambion food and chilling with you lovely folks. Oh yeah, was Cambion on tonight? Was he on? I don't know. We've been sitting together, ignoring the world.
Sitting in our tunnel.
Hi George. He's great. Hi George. Love you. Do you guys like my crystal ball? It's a moon. It changes colors. I've decided that with every episode because we kind of have a theme color for every episode. I'm gonna change the moon color for you guys. So
what
it's a
even
whole
is
vibe.
the moon?
What even? Okay, so can we talk about that? So today there was like this thing, and they were talking about how they found a structure on the moon. China did, they said it's gonna take them a few weeks or months to like look into it, right? So I posted about it, I retweeted it, and I jokingly says, what even is the moon? Because we've done an episode before where we were like, what is the moon? And we talked about all the different things the moon could be. So it was kind of like an inside joke because we've talked about the moon before. And a lot of people assumed that I was asking what the moon was and took it very seriously. And I was like, you guys, I know what the moon is. It's not that serious. People like retweeting it and they were like, yeah, what is the moon? Yeah, it is this. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny actually.
It really is.
I think it's. Wait, you should definitely highlight. He had Jay Wagner. That's dope.
Okay, hold on. I can't go back. Oh, I'm trying to. Hold on, skirt. Okay, so he interviewed Jay Wagner on Stanker. Ooh, Cambion did nice. Jealous. Everyone go watch that. And then Stuart said, "All good here." Chris is napping. Oh, tell her we said hi. She's all good. She's cute. Oh, Bibby, are you back?
Bibby Longstocking.
Bibby, are you there?
The moon is green cheese.
The moon is green cheese. Bibby, you there?
Hi, Bibby's having problems. I just saw smoke coming out of his nose. That's all I saw.
Bibs. This is the fun of live, guys, where we are just vibing and waiting for Bobby to come back so we can finish telling you about the lizard men. Also, I guess while we're waiting for Bobby, we'll tell you the reason that we're kind of going over the lizard man is because we're going to do a really deep dive episode on the reptilian alien species. And so we kind of wanted to like tease it a little bit and wet our beaks a little bit in this reptilian world. So we thought, what a fun way to deep dive into it. And we thought it would be really cool to talk about that kind of shit.
And it's cool, I think, also to point out kind of a cryptid side of what a reptilian could be. And I think it also just helps to see, like, is there a difference? I'm kind of leaning towards that there is a difference between the two of them. But who fucking knows? We're just here to dissect it all apart.
Honestly, we really are. We're just trying to figure out what it is that's going on. And we've done a few episodes before about different alien species, and I'll be posting some of those on YouTube soon for you guys, especially once this one comes out that we do about the deep dive. So, but we want to hear from you guys what kind of like things you guys want to hear about. Like, what episodes do you want us to deep dive? Like, what kind of topics and stuff do you guys want us to go into? Because there's a lot of information out there, and I think people really kind of talk about the same stories and stuff in this community, and we want to hear like other things. So like, what kind of things do you guys want to hear about? You know what I mean?
Totally. I want to share a picture of kind of the story that Bobby was talking about here.
Show it to us, Bree.
This is kind of a cool like artist rendering.
Ooh, there we go.
You can see how terrified he is. He's like, ah! They made this creature almost look like a Bigfoot.
They did, in all honesty. It has a very, so that's when Bobby was first talking about me. He's like, it looks like a, what does the log look like? The first thing I wanted to say was Bigfoot, because I feel like Bigfoot could look like a big, tall, standing tree. And I was like, very Bigfoot-like. And it looks like almost a Bigfoot, but just a reptilian kind of Bigfoot. A hairless Bigfoot. May you have it.
Yes. And which is interesting because it's kind of supposed to be looking a little bit different. Well, I mean, everyone has their own experiences, but this is, I think, the overall look.
Yeah, that is. Curious George wants to hear more about galactic federations.
Okay.
Anything unexplained is good. All right. Awesome.
You know, if it was at night though, I can see how this kind of creature can look a lot like Bigfoot. I mean, when you're terrified and you're running, you're just kind of like, all you see is a big face, a big body, and like, ah.
Well, I think
he could
that's
definitely
something
flip a car.
I think that's something that we say constantly, though, when we're talking about any of these creatures. So when you're scared and you have adrenaline running in you and you see something really quickly and fast, that's why a lot of times we talk about misidentification, or it may be possibly being just a creature that you would normally see or something like that. And so that's a big part of cryptids that we have to talk about when we're talking about that kind of stuff inside here. Bibby's coming back. Don't you worry. I would be frightened too. All right. While we wait for Bibby, I'll go on a little bit with the story. So after that time of the airman who told the story, there wasn't too many encounters of it, or not that stuff that was super publicized about it, and it kind of died down for a little bit. But that was until 2008, and there was a story that came out in the news, and I'm going to play the video for you guys because it is very self-explanatory, and what better than their own people telling their story, you know what I mean? So we're going to do this right now.
There's no sound.
There's no sound? None?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me... Ooh. There we go. Okay, hold on.
Is this Rossens?
Rossens? Yes. Rossens? Ah, there it is. Share audio. All right, guys. I apologize. We'll start it over.
The legend blows in with a brisk winter wind, sending chills through neighbors in Lee County.
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Bob Rawson looks down at the blood on his van, all the claw marks, and check out the hood.
He literally bit. And you can feel it underneath where he's bit right straight through here.
Who he is, a point of renewed debate in these parts. Some sure they know the only creature capable of this kind of damage.
They say it's the lizard man.
If it is the lizard man, Nearly 2 decades after first being spotted near Scape or Swamp. No one's ever been able to confirm an account of the 7-foot monster with green skin, 3 toes, and a 3-fingered claw.
Lizard with bad attitude. Oh my goodness.
In addition to the car damage, the Rawsons noticed that the boxes that their cats usually sleep in were empty, aside from the towels that they sleep on, and these were shredded. They looked at the morning paper, same thing. Whoever did this, the Rawsons, aren't taking any chances.
Oh shit.
Standard.
Jesus.
It's 40 caliber. It's not a-
His Glock loaded, Rawson ready to shoot what he feels is most likely a bear. Lee County Sheriff E.J. Melvin
bear
says
again.
it could be a coyote. But then again,
You see all the scratch mark and first thing everybody say, they go to lizard man, return. Sheriff, the lizard man's back. And then, you know, you think it's a joke, but you look at the damage of the vehicle. It's hard to say.
All
Yeah.
right. So
No,
that was
I
that.
agree. I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, so that was interesting because you have another story again talking about the car, all of the marks on side of it. And what's interesting is that we don't have any like nobody's there's not more accounts of it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just there it was in 2008, just a random ass encounter of the fucking lizard man. Like what the fuck is that shit?
Well, I also had read another story of a woman saying that she has an ass ton of cats, and
Wasn't it that lady though? That same lady?
I don't know because I'm surprised she didn't talk about it unless they just didn't show it in the news.
I was like,
clip. I
ma-
thought
yeah,
it was the same woman, the
maybe
Rawsons,
maybe they just didn't show her thing.
or who knows how big this damn family is.
That's
I
true.
just know her
And
name was Dixie.
But again, and someone said this, Hillbilly Hendrix said this, talking about a bear. They were saying again, another excuse about it is a bear. I don't know how you get fucking scaly skin from a bear, though. That's the thing I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, this
That
woman, her poor cats, she had her car messed up too. And then she said she still has 7 cats missing.
7 cats? Jesus fucking Christ.
And then there was out like in their farm, they had some dead cattle and a dead coyote. So they were like, what? I don't know. Could a bear also eat a coyote too?
I think
don't
that a
know
bear
what
could
bears eat.
definitely. I was like, I definitely think a bear could eat a coyote, but I don't. That'd be
And
an
7
interesting.
cats?
And well, I mean, a bear.
That's a big ass dinner.
Okay, here's the thing though. If a bear before it's going into hibernation, a bear's its metabolism is super high, so it's eating a bunch of shit before it goes into hibernation. So how could it not?
All right. So
Tim.
7 cats, a coyote, some cattle, and
Before it
then
goes into
was
hibernation.
going to a car for dessert.
I mean, I think the car part we talked about already. The car part was maybe. Oh, I got it. It got some of the cat bones and coyote stuck in its mouth, and it didn't have any floss, so it was trying to use the car to get the snacks out.
Maybe it ate a cat that was already high on catnip, so it just went fucking crazy and
It just went
started
crazy?
eating everything it could.
That's a huge possibility as well. Why not? That's a whole vibe. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, me either.
So was
So
there?
I don't know.
I was like, was there any other stories that you heard about after that then, or just during? Was that during 2008? Did it say when you read it anywhere?
Mhm. No, that was it.
Dang.
Just 2008. And so,
Hey, Babs.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I got
Perfect.
oh my
Perfect.
God.
that. We don't have Google Fiber yet. Is that a
You'll get
possum?
there.
What is that?
It's my very own cryptid. Her name's Nugget. Sometimes she visits the show.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. So we had literally just got done watching the video of the 2008 encounter, and basically what happened was the same thing of all the other ones. It attacked their car, and it showed video of like its nails and stuff dug into it and things like that. So we're just talking about the similarities of one, it having this physical evidence on the car that looked like it was chewed and clawed mark, and then also in addition to that, the excuse that a lot of people have was that it was a bear.
What the three claws gets me though, right?
I agree with you 100%.
The 3 claws is
Yeah.
not I don't think a bear does an old 3 claw scratch. Or
Unless, what about if it's a very specific bear that lost a finger?
it's a pretty specific bear. I'm not gonna lie, Jamie.
I was like, what if it's maybe it's a genetic defect and it's a family of
What we're
bears
looking
who
at.
only have 3 fingers.
This is our
It's
creature
possible,
right here.
but
I make the comment too that I don't understand why people say that it could be a bear when very visibly people are saying that it has green scales. So people are constantly saying that it has green scales. So I don't
yeah, so-
understand the whole bear part of it.
we can't Bigfoot of the Gap this one.
Well, that's really interesting that you were saying that. Show up, Bree.
Okay,
Show the one picture
this
that
is
looks
the
kind of like
picture.
Bigfoot. Yeah, show it.
Yeah, that's a Bigfoot right there. If I ever
Right?
saw one in my whole life.
This is the story. This is a Christopher Davis story.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, did y'all show Christopher Davis's drawing? Because it's
no, because that's
pretty-
embarrassing.
It's pretty crude. Yeah, we're not even going to show that. That would we're going to do Christopher Davis a favor on his credibility and not show his drawing of the lizard man of South Carolina. Now I did read up that there was a prehistoric alligator in the area, prehistoric, mind you, called the Carnifex carolinensis, which was a giant alligator that walked on 2 legs. So we got that going on as a possibility, a little Loch Ness action, like maybe all the prehistoric creatures of the past did not actually die off, or maybe you have some sort of overlap of the frequencies of the veil, maybe a little past earthly activity going on between time dimensions. Who knows?
100%, yes.
I like how you guys are like, yes, that is a possibility.
No, 100%, but it really can be, in all honesty. Hi, Oracles and Beyond. Welcome.
I feel like the image that we're looking at is a more accurate of what
People
I
are
feel like it
seeing.
would look
That's
like.
just Gollum from Lord of the Rings, though. Just like
My
literally,
precious.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
when you
Okay,
feed the
I
penguin a
have-
fish in Batman Returns. All right,
Okay, Bobby, you said that when you were researching, you ran into a few interesting things. So why don't you tell us what interesting things you ran into when you were researching?
I definitely appreciate the assist on that segue there, Jamie, but we've already talked about it. The Air Force Base phenomenon.
That's it. Oh, okay. That's the
what I
only
was
one
getting
that
at.
you really got?
I just want to ask you guys before I got rudely interrupted by my
Internet.
by my subpar internet. Now let's assume that this is a real flesh and blood reptilian creature. Are we going? Is this the same species as like Queen Elizabeth and Hillary Clinton and all those people? Are we saying that those are? Is this just like a renegade blue collar reptilian that lives in the swamp? It's like, I don't want to be a global elite. I just want to live in the swamp.
What is this?
Christopher Davis is
You know, Chris Davis, I know that you were scared in 1988, but if you're going to go to the cops and you agree to give a eyewitness sketch, this is very unfortunate.
Hey,
This is very unfortunate for your case.
I can only draw stick figures.
But here's the thing, though. Yeah, I appreciate his dedication. That's the thing. So thank you for doing your dedication to it. But it's really, it's bad.
I literally, when I was watching all these documentaries and stuff on the lizard man, when they showed that, I literally laughed out loud alone in my office like an insane person. I was like,
I wouldn't have even.
That is not helping your case at all. But
it's really
not. God bless
so
him.
Funny because the sheriff too was like, and then he drew the picture, and I had to get serious about it. And then they showed the picture. Like, what?
It's like, I don't know.
I had to get serious about it.
Maybe he just he didn't have the drawing skills there. I mean, that's fine, but it does not look convincing.
I mean, I see the 3 claws and the weird head. So, okay.
So Davis drew this. The guy who, like, the sighting that really made it famous, that his sighting, this is his drawing, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Case for infinity.
Oh no, it was Mr. Catfish.
No, I'm talking about the laughing emoji.
Oh. And this one, that don't look like aliens. It's not. Well, I mean, maybe that's an interesting segue that you say there, because
what is an alien?
Okay, so that's a great fucking question, Bobby. What the fuck is an alien? Okay, so I've had this debate several times with people. So to me, an alien is personally something that is not of Earth. Humans are of Earth. Any little animals of Earth. Butterflies and
Earth.
fucking mosquitoes, Earth, right? Bigfoots, fucking ghosts, fucking anything from space, anything from a different dimension, alien to me. That's my definition.
So what you're saying is, if we say that aliens in the conventional sense are not interdimensional or from outer space, let's say they are inner Earth, they are not technically, according to Jamie, they are not aliens. They are terrestrial.
Well, that depends on what you mean.
You're bleeding
Because
now.
I was like, yeah, because that's interesting that you say that, because historically, when people say like underground, like people dwellers, there's only really two
It's a close
big.
up.
I was like, only two big categories come up. It's reptilians.
You can't just throw that up on the screen and not warn me first.
I know, not tell us. Okay, so you have reptilians, and then you have mole people, right? I think mole people might be of Earth, so I don't
It's like
think
a
they'd be
Rickroll.
aliens. But it is. But I do think that reptilians probably live in the Earth, but I don't think that they're necessarily of Earth, because I think that they came from somewhere else, but just live in Earth.
I just want to say I fucking love the internet that I found you guys to talk to say a
Just do
sentence
this.
like that in
To do
pure
the shit.
sincerity. That is great. I love it.
It
Sorry.
is. It is. It's true.
God bless Al Gore for inventing the internet.
100%. Okay, so what
Well,
were we talking
listen.
about? What were we talking about before we got sidetracked, guys? Where were we?
Reptilians might be
oh,
underground
reptilians.
dwellers.
Okay, so reptilians might be underground dwellers. So when you say like people that live underground, do you mean reptilians?
No, I'm saying, would you not
This is
consider?
Christopher Davis. I think his face kind of looks like the shape of the lizard man that he drew. I
He's a
just
big
can't
Dr.
with
Dre
you.
fan.
I'm sorry. You're just like, let me throw up pictures.
Learns how to share screen. Can't stop.
Jamie, focus. Jamie, focus.
I'm
What I
here.
was
I'm here,
asking
Bobby.
is, by your definition, we can move on after this, but by your
Okay.
definition of an alien, if
Yeah.
it comes from the ground, we do not
No.
consider it an alien.
No, if
Oh,
it comes from
shit.
Earth, that's a very different thing that you're saying. That's Earth. If it doesn't come from Earth.
We might even be like terraformed entities from another galaxy.
believe it.
That
I
would
really
make us
do.
aliens too.
I've always said 100 times that we are the aliens of Earth.
Just fucking love
This is way more fun to talk about than this awesome picture
It's great.
that this guy drew.
Okay.
I
I should take Bree's ability to share things away from her. Is that what I should do?
I can't bring myself to throw out notebooks from like middle school and high school because I have so many doodles like that. I'm like, oh, this is like my art books, but
You
it's
draw better
literally-
than that.
Yeah,
now
you
I
draw
do,
way better
but
than that.
now but I mean that's the kind of shit that I'm
Mike.
nostalgic for.
Mike says this is his favorite image of all time. Okay, so
too.
things we got to
If
get back
someone
on.
can paint that, I want to put it on my mantle above my
Yes, please.
fireplace.
This of all the cryptids that we've ever painted, this is the one we all should have fucking painted.
It wouldn't be hard.
Exactly in the style of Davis. I would have like tried to copy his exact. Just give it color,
right.
give it a little life.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to do a realistic sketch of that guy's drawing interpretation of what he saw.
Okay,
I'm
100%.
gonna try to add some detail to it. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, do it. Okay, so we have to talk about what we think this reptilian could be. If it is a reptilian, lizard man, cryptid, what is going on here, right? So we were trying to define this definition of what an alien or what a cryptid is, right? So we all have said a cryptid, some sort of an animal, an alien. That has a much broader definition. As Monster Radio said here, the whole alien definition is sketchy. Exactly. Interdimensional, extra-dimensional, biological. There's so many different things. Oh, there's the
That
lizard guy.
There's a lizard guy for you.
There
Bring that
he
one home to mom,
is.
ladies.
There we go. Look
I
at
bet
that.
he's a big Sepultural fan.
What you do with that tongue though?
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Nope.
Okay, so
If anyone was gonna go there,
we said that there's the possibility that the base might be an escaped reptilian, right? That's why we have this maybe surge of seeing it during the 1980 time and then not seeing it for a long time. A very short, brief escape during the 2008, 2013 kind of realm, right? And then disappears again.
And I will say, would we agree that the 1980s are the decade of probably the most iconic alien abduction stories? Just alien, like aliens. I don't know. Like it's just like, but was it the Bud Hopkins stuff in the 80s and Community was in the 80s? I just feel like maybe the 80s was for whatever reason some sort of.
It was definitely like in New York though. Like New York was that whole Hudson
Right.
Valley. Yeah, they were having a hard moment in the 80s. It was a whole.
But I just
UFO
find it
wave over
interesting
there.
that the 80s, I don't know. I don't know that I'm not trying to make connections that aren't there, but I
think what you're alluding to is what you said earlier when you were talking about, is it a possibility that maybe astrologically there was some sort of weird alignment during this time in the 80s where maybe some type of portal was open where we were seeing a lot of activity? And that's a huge possibility.
Hell yeah. Spank bank.
Thank you so much, Bree.
This was the lizard wave. That's why they're having way too much fun in the swamp.
Oh, here we go.
Can you send that to me when we're done recording?
Yeah, we need that in our lives. I love it, Bree. That's a whole vibe. All right, so here's my question for everyone. So we've gone over the story. We talked about some of the possibilities it could be. Bobby, why don't you factor sci-fi and tell me what the fuck you think this is?
Honestly, are we doing the scale still?
Yeah, of course we're doing the fucking cryptid probabilities.
I'd give it a 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
All right. And what do you think it is? Do you think maybe some sort of misidentification? And if so, what is it? Or what do you think this is? Do you think this is another maybe just made up bullshit to make money? What's your angle here, sir?
I think maybe that guy, the most famous one, Christopher Davis. I think he maybe experienced something, but I think there's like maybe some trauma-induced pareidolia going on here. I don't know of any. To be fair, I don't have cars, but I'm also not a wildlife zoologist either. So I'm just I feel like the legend has exploded past the actual phenomenon.
Which I think we see happens a lot in some of the stories that we talk about.
Is it 2?
Yeah, 2. You said 2.
2. It was definitely misidentified, I think. And I think this is definitely the corporate.
Bree's just trying to rickroll the shit out of us tonight.
For sure. This is, we can all agree. We can all agree. Right?
I think that's definitely an idea for maybe who a reptilian is, but we'll talk about that more in another episode. Bree, factor sci-fi this. What do you got? What's your scale? What do you got?
I am gonna middle bitch this one.
If
right down
we're
the middle,
going
solid
off
5?
the drawing,
which Bree, put it back up. Just put the drawing back up. Just do it.
Only the close up. The close up is the best.
That's fine. That's
it looks vibe. Just like fucking Zuckerberg.
Going just off this picture. Everybody in the chat, please tell me 1 to 10 factor sci-fi this, you guys. Bree, give me your number just off this picture.
I'm just I can't off the picture. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna stick with a 5. He looks like a great blow-up doll.
Oh my god. That's 100%.
I want one of those with the split tongue.
Do you think that guy took this picture to his doctor and was like, I want to look like this?
Exactly.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh, Bobby disappeared. Bobby couldn't handle us laughing. He couldn't hang. He was like, you guys are ridiculous. Add to stream. Come back here, Bobby. Bree, give it a number.
I fucking gave you a 5.
5. Okay, a 5. All right. I'm gonna give this
what's a sci-fi? Okay, I got it. Okay, so wait, do I have to give a middle bitch a number? Middle bitch is just 5, right?
Yeah, 5. Middle bitch is just 5. Fact would be 10. Sci-fi would be 1. I'm gonna have to bust out the cryptid scale of probability to start showing when we do this. I have it somewhere, just not on my desktop right now. But anyways, I'm gonna give this one a solid. I'm gonna give this one a solid 4.5. I'm gonna middle bitch it with you a little bit, and I'm going to I like the idea of it because I think it's a fun story. We have a lot of sightings. I think that there's a lot of similarities on the stories, and I think maybe the later one that happened like in 2008, 2013 realm maybe wasn't necessarily something that actually happened. That was the lizard man, but I think that the story is specifically about like the air guy who like said he saw something and then was immediately shut up. I'm super sketched out by that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And I think it's interesting that the government is really fucking with Bobby right now.
I feel bad for him.
I know, I do too.
Yeah, that does give it a bit more credibility, I would argue.
There you go. See, Bobby's back. Okay. And I agree with you. It does that one story. That's why I say I'm giving it a 4.5, a little bit less, because there is a little bit of credibility to that story. So I have to see it just a tiny bit. I like that one. I like that he was shut up. It gives me very much like Men in Black vibes.
I'm off.
You're gone, but
delayed in
you're
time lost.
Poor Bobby.
In the hour.
All right, guys.
Lost in space.
I love everybody so much, but the government is clearly trying to shut us down and it wants Bobby to leave. So we're going to have to end tonight's show with that Fact or Sci-Fi. We love you guys all so much. Thank you all for coming on, all of your messages, and we'll be back soon. Definitely. And hit us in the DMs with what you want to hear next. We love you guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.